Please turn to page 5 for the Common Core Standards. In this chapter, what you will see are not only the Common Core Standards, but also my school-wide stages of writing and how they will help you meet your standards. There are 3 domains of writing: the narrative, informative explanatory, and then also opinion writing. These are the 3 domains that you'll be covering in your Common Core. In this chapter, not only will I show you what your standards are for 2nd and 3rd grade, but I also will show you my stages of writing system. These are my direct instruction steps that you will utilize throughout this entire program in order for your children to reach the standards. Let's go into the chapter and see exactly what you need to do. On page 6, I have this outlined so that you'll see here's the 3 domains: narrative, informative explanatory, as well as opinion. Then what you'll notice is in columns, you'll see the 2nd grade has listed out what their narrative standards are. And then right below those standards, you will see my narrative writing lessons and how I have identified stages. And in this case, you'll see that this is stages 4 and 5 that you will teach in order for your 2nd graders to reach the narrative writing standards. If you look over to the other side, the next column, you will notice are the 3rd grade standards and the lessons that you would teach in order for your children to reach standard. If you go down the columns, you'll notice the next section is for 2nd and 3rd grade informative explanatory writing. Your standards are listed and what lessons you would teach in my program. You'll also notice 3rd grade has their standards listed with the stages of writing. And right below that, we go into 2nd grade standards for opinion, 3rd grade standards for opinion, and the assigned lessons that you would teach in order for your children to reach standard. Before I leave this page, I want to make one more point, and that is, in the Common Core, what they're looking for is for children to be able to write any of these 3 genres in 2 different ways. One is on demand. That means that you would give your students a writing prompt, and then they would be able to write a narrative, an opinion, or informative explanatory on their own independently. Another type of writing is process writing. That's where the students would brainstorm, they would plan their work, they would go back, revise, and edit, and this would take many days in order for them to finally finish a product. On demand is a shorter period, and the students are independently writing, while with the process writing, they're getting constant feedback from the teacher so that they can improve their writing and start reaching those goals. On-demand writing is independent, while the process writing is going to get the feedback from the teacher, so students will have specific teaching points that they can address in order to improve their writing. On page 7, you will notice that I have the school-wide writing graphic organizers. Now, writing graphic organizers are many times essential for most children to utilize in order to plan their writing. The problem with them is instead of helping children plan their writing, many times children are given too many organizers that they have to select in order to plan their writing. In my program, I've gone in the opposite direction. First of all, students will always start from blank paper. They will make their own organizers, and it would be one of these 3 organizers that they would utilize in order to plan their writing, depending on what stage of writing or genre they're at. This is essential because now not only can they make an organizer from just plain paper, you don't have to Xerox off anything, but also they will learn how to plan their own work, and the organizer will help them plan their work. Another benefit of student-created organizers, in other words, one of these 3 organizers that they would create on plain paper, is the reality testing purposes. When children are tested, many times they're given a prompt and a plain piece of paper, and from there they can make an organizer. Well, if we're always Xeroxing off organizers and giving it to them, when they get a prompt and a plain piece of paper, many children scratch their head and they're not sure what to do. So you always want to show children you have control over planning your own paper. It's very simple, and you'll notice on these 3 organizers that there's very few lines. It should be fast, quick, and easy for children. This should be a tool that helps them plan, does not impede their organization and thoughts. Please turn to page 8. This is the last page of this chapter that is bridging the Common Core State Standards for Writing at 2nd and 3rd grade to my Stages of Writing system. I've shown you the standards, I've identified stages of writing, I've shown you my organizers. This final page actually is a table, and on this table what you will see are grade levels and the 3 different domains of writing: narrative, informative explanatory, opinion, and also notice argumentative. Because in the domains of writing, there is the persuasive umbrella in which K through 5 will be opinion writing, and then the final grade I address in my program, which is 6th grade, will be the argument. And then it eventually will progress on to persuasive writing as children reach even the higher level grades. On this table, please notice, here we have our grades. 2nd and 3rd grade, let's start. Right here, I have my 2nd and 3rd grade levels. Right next to them, notice 2nd grade, you have for your writing stages 4 and 5. 3rd grade, you have stages 4 through 6. When we're teaching writing and you're looking at your standards are showing you what, at the end of your school year, your students should be able to do, what skills they need to master. So of course, this is going to be a process. You're going to have leveled lessons that build one after the other in order for them finally and ultimately at the end of the school year to write its standard. So 2nd grade, your stages 4 and 5 will slowly progress your 2nd graders. So when they finally master stage 5, they're writing a narrative at standard. If you notice 3rd grade, you have stages 4 through 6. So not only can you slowly progress your children through the stages through the year to master their 3rd grade standards, you also have the ability to go back and review what they had learned at the end of 2nd grade. So this provides you with review and then a progression in which you will throughout the year keep building skills until your students master the standards. Notice as you go down the grade levels, the stages increase so that the students again are becoming more sophisticated in their narrative writing, building their skills so that they match the standards, and you are creating a school-wide common language with these stages of writing, with these direct instruction lessons in order for your students not only to learn at your grade level, but to continue that learning that bridges, reviews, and then bridges to new learning as they go throughout each school year. If you look at the next column, we have our informative explanatory writing. And again, you would go 2nd grade, you would look at what stages would I take my 2nd graders through until by the end of the year, I will master my standards. At the beginning of the year, you would have your children independently write so that you can determine from their level of writing what stage you would start at. Maybe you would start at a stage 3. Maybe your student's writing is more proficient and you don't need to go back and do that review. Instead, you could start at a higher stage. So the stages aren't listed for you to look at and say, start with stage 3, then move to 4, 5, and 6. Instead, have your children write, and then from there you would determine which stage you would begin your teaching at from the beginning of the year. And then you would build to the next, knowing that each level will increase skills and make their writing more sophisticated. And finally, we head into our last level, which is opinion writing for grades 2, 3. Notice both grades have listed out stage 5. That's because in stage 5, you had the basic elements that you need to have in 2nd and 3rd grade. You need to provide an opinion, a reason, but 3rd grade, you also need to expand on that reason. Second and third grade, you have the same stage of writing because you'll have those basic elements that you need to address in order for you to master your standards for opinion writing. But I've kept both your grade levels at a stage 5 because some second graders may be able to move on to expand on their sentences and their reasons and their opinion. So that's why stage 5 is both at second and third grade. It will reach both of your standards and move you beyond. As we conclude this chapter, you have your standards addressed, my stages of writing system, and also the organizers you will utilize when you're planning with your students the different areas of writing that you need to address in order to master your standards. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at if I know what I need to teach and I have these lessons, when and where in my day do I teach these lessons? Where do I teach writing? Many times when we're looking at trying to fit in all of our standards, all of these skills that we have to meet at our grade levels, we feel like we just don't have enough time. So what I'm going to do is we're going to move to the next chapter so that we can address where in your day and when would you teach all these different skills so your students can write at grade level. This means you need to now take into account, when will I model this type of writing? When will I teach this to my kids? And also all of those other skills they need to enhance their writing and make them better writers. Let's go to integrate writing across the curriculum so that we can see where you will put all your different writing activities, all the components of writing into your instructional day.